and welcome to another episode of Pass Remote, the TV show podcast for CBC. It is me, Joe. I'm here with Mitch across the other Skype sphere, whatever you want to call it. Of course, you can find us on Twitter at HalftimeJoe, Mitch692. And, as I always say, you can Google us because that's really the easiest way to find where we are everywhere for CBC. You can find us the Twitter, the Facebook, SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitch. Discord is going to be on the Twitch. And yes, currently we are recording this live for twitch.tv/comicbookcast2. You can check us out there where we record all the casts live. Most likely, right, Mitch? This is going to be the new thing, right? We are going to start doing them live on Twitch. If not, maybe YouTube in the future, but most likely we're going to start doing them live and talking to people.
We'll start with Twitch, and then we'll see how the YouTube thing goes.
Exactly.
When YouTube stops being fucking YouTube. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Exactly. So, before we get into anything else, of course, as I said, we are doing this live, so make sure to go over to twitch.tv/comicbookcast2, or if you look at any of the social medias like YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, they should all have the link to it. Make sure to give us follow, stay alert, because we are going live Monday through Thursday, most likely is the new schedule. That's when the shows kind of go up, so it only sounds right to do them live the day of they come out. And with that, we are going to get into it with what Mitch says, a tiny show, but you never know with us.
This is a medium.
Yeah.
Medium size show. It's decent.
You really never know with this. Okay, so for the first piece of news, we are going to be talking about the first news still from the Gifted Season 2.
Yeah, Polaris is preggers. She's up to duff.
It's all Mitch. I don't know too much X-Men. I think he knows more than me.
Don't put that on me.
Okay, that's not bad.
I know the X-Men to an extent.
Yeah.
Or to an extent.
To extent, you're right. But yeah, it's just a new still of Polaris, I guess, being pregnant. She's gonna give birth to a kid. Yeah, there. I don't know too much about it. It's just that's happening. Yeah.
And you got the edgy little dude from the first one with like white hair now, because that's a thing.
Yeah, those three. So the middle girl, she's assumed that Emma Frost character, right? Or is she a new character? Cause
I think
she looked like me. Yeah, that she looked like her. So.
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell which one she actually is because they're all the same actress.
Well, agree. But I'm just assuming that's one of those, like, whatever people.
Yeah, she's one of the Stepford Cuckoos. That's who she is.
What was last time we saw Polaris? I can't really remember. It's
last
been a while.
Last time we saw Polaris, she was like, "No, I have to bring down this private plane.
That's right.
I need to protect my unborn baby."
That's right. We saw her
she
there.
Literally just vanishes, and it's like, "Oh, okay." So it's going to be nothing.
I would say it's definitely been a couple of months since we've seen the Gifted.
A couple of months. It's probably been at least 9.
Has it
actually,
really?
No, she was pregnant at the end already. So it's what, 4 months? Something like that?
When did it end?
When did the show end?
Yeah.
January, February?
Yeah, okay. It's been a while. So it was hard for me to recall certain moments in the show. It was a fine show. I think we came out of it being fine, and we're entertained and stuff like that. It wasn't, I think, the best show. Probably
the first half was boring as shit. The second half is fine. It ramps up a bit and becomes a bit more X-Men-y, but
yeah,
it's still just fine.
Well, like I said, there's really nothing else I would say other than just, oh, hey, now she's actually going to have a kid, and I assume the bad guy's going to want to take it away so they can use the kid and have it grow up to be one of their weapons. You know, kind of that typical kind of storytelling.
What I want to know is, because I don't know if Polaris had a kid in the comics or not.
Yeah, me either.
So
I cannot tell you, honestly. I feel like I've read so little X-Men. It's funny. It's that funny.
Actually, chat, does she have a kid in the comics?
There you go. We're asking chat. See, this is one of those things.
And that's a loud play.
Yes, well, I mean, I can't do that. I live near a military base. But this is one of the things, as we said, we are doing this live on Twitch, so it is one of those things. Chat can always help us out when we get things wrong or we don't know anything. But as someone said in the chat right now, I don't know if they'll show the actual birthing process on this TV show.
I mean, you're not gonna see it physically come out.
Yeah, I don't think it's one of those things.
They'll do the typical TV thing. She's gonna lay there, she's gonna scream, and they're gonna like just pick up a baby. And so, here's this clean baby that's far too old to just be born.
Exactly.
And it's clearly hungry because it's crying.
Apparently, she does have one in House of M. So that is. I don't remember. So it's gone in my head.
I'll let it slide. Even though House of M is technically not canon. Well, it is canon, but all the stuff in it.
Mitch is letting it slide.
Yeah.
So
not that I know the name of it, but oh well.
You're right. All right. And I guess that is gonna be it for the new stuff from the Get to Season 2, as there's not much to go on about it because it's really just a still and just the idea of what's going to happen with her baby. Not too much. So we'll probably learn more in the coming weeks, especially since San Diego Comic-Con is this week. All right. Going on to the next piece of news. We are going to be talking about Cloak and Dagger showrunner teasing villains for season 2. Now, they're teasing villains as in fantastical villains, more comic booky villains, because right now, villains, quotes, is kind of just real people.
There isn't really a villain?
I would say the cop's a villain. But it's what you consider a villain, right? He's just a bad guy.
I mean, he's not like the villain of the arc or the season. He's like a more personal antagonist for Ty.
That is of the arc, isn't it? Of the season. There's two villains technically. There's that cop and there's Nathan Bowen. They're technically both villains for both arcs for the season. But it's
how is Nathan Bowen a villain?
Because he's the one who cute. Like he let it all happen. He let the whole explosion happen.
My dad didn't let it happen.
Oh, not Nathan Bowen. I thought Nathan Bowen was I'm getting mixed up. I'm talking about, I forget the big guy's name. The main guy that Tandy was going on about to try to find. Remember? I forget his name. I keep saying Nathan Bowen because that's the name that kept coming up in my head.
I'm saying that's her dad.
Yeah.
I can't remember the guy.
Yeah, but that guy. So
it's the guy who was money grabbing in his hopes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's also what you consider a villain, right? Because technically they are the villains of the season. They are the arcs and whatnot. They're, it all makes sense. Apparently, the villain that they're teasing for season 2 has already been shown.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. I feel stupid for missing it, to be honest, but in case you don't know, it's Mr. Jip.
Yeah.
One of the most obscure villains you'll probably find. It's yet again another connection to Doctor Strange, because he did go to Comatage at one point.
Yeah, it's one of those. Well, I mean, we talked about it, right? In that episode specifically, season 1, episode 6, we talked about it, saying that this was the episode where he first kind of takes control of his powers and he's able to stop somebody from using the door. Honestly, I wouldn't have guessed it was Mr. Jip.
Well, no, if you knew what Mr. Jip looked like, you probably wouldn't make the connection. But it's when you look at it, it's like, oh, of course, like, yeah. It looks like it could be Mr. Jip. It makes sense to where he was in the context of it, so it's all cool.
But this is exciting news because, of course, we're both fans of Cloak and Dagger. And just hearing that it is going to be a little bit more fantastical is cool because it'll take it another step and introduce something new to the show. Because right now, it is very street level no matter how their powers are. And we'll talk about it later, especially when we're talking about Cloak and Dagger. But their powers are very minimal when you think about it. They have to strengthen them sooner or later. And they kind of are in this episode that we're going to be talking about later. So that's why it's almost like a sped up process of just like, all right, now they're a little bit more powerful. So they're almost ready for more fantastical villains, which is going to be exciting to see, honestly, because I'm curious how they're going to mix this fantastical stuff with the street level stuff of season 1. And
I mean, like, the context of the setting they're in, like New Orleans, you can't keep it grounded for that long.
Exactly.
Of course. Stuff, everything. You're gonna have to go a bit more magical, mystical, and supernatural, at some point. So if you ground, it's kind of like how the MCU does things. You ground it, you semi-ground it for the introduction, then you just like say fuck it and jump off.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I'm all aboard because we're talking about previously with the voodoo stuff and how I find it really interesting, and I think we both find it just super enjoyable in terms of what they could do with it. And now that it's Mr. Jip, and you could tell me, since you love their comics, how many issues has he really been in? Like,
Mr. Jib, I couldn't tell you that one.
All right, never mind. Okay, because I was just curious as to how big of a villain he is, because it doesn't seem like they have a. Okay,
he's not that big.
It doesn't seem like they have a lot of runs to come away with, you know.
No, that's probably an understatement, to be honest.
So
they have a run and then some other things.
Does this mean they can most likely create new characters, maybe, or take out from other heroes, villains from other heroes, and kind of introduce them here? And if that is Mr. Jip that we looked at in season 6, I think it is right. That's going to be him.
Well, that's what the showrunner said.
Okay,
that is. No, you might have already seen him. It's like, that was Mr. Jip. No.
Okay, if that is...
He hangs out in headspaces and dream worlds. Come on, no.
If that is... Since it is him, it's going to be one of those things where it's just, it's just going to happen. Let it happen, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not too much to explain it. It was in season 6. It was in season 1, episode 6, so there it is.
Yeah.
But
it's also nice that they're thinking this far ahead.
Oh, yeah, I don't think there is confirmation if it is renewed or not, but I think it will be, most likely.
Right now, chat's arguing about that, so...
Yeah, I don't recall anything about it. Maybe this weekend at San Diego Comic-Con, there could be something that come out, because I'm pretty sure Marvel Television is going to have a panel if Marvel Films
Cloak and Dagger's got a panel.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they might say it then. If not, I don't know, I have a good feeling this will be, because if Runaways got brought back, I'm pretty sure Cloak and Dagger will. What else does Freeform really have? They lost Pretty Little Liars, which I'm the only one who knows of that show apparently here.
Apparently it was Freeform who said they announced it for season 2, if I'm reading that chat right. But that was June 8th. I don't know how we missed that if we did.
Yeah, I don't... Maybe we talked about it.
So, I mean, if we did, then I got ahead like a sieve apparently.
Yeah, same. But yeah, it just sounds cool. I'm all aboard for the more fantastical elements of Cloak and Dagger, kind of what Mr. Jip is going to allow, and I'm sure he's not going to look the same as he does in the comics, or like you said, we already seen him before. No. It's probably going to be that. What am I mean, it might be one of those Freddy Krueger type things, right, where he's in the dreams and then eventually he'll come outside.
It's essentially what Mr. Jip is.
Yeah.
To be honest, essentially what he is, but
yeah.
It's cool. It's something different. Like, how are these two going to fight against that? I don't know.
Yeah, you're excited for it, right?
I think this episode might have been a good indication of how they might do that. But
yeah,
I'm excited. It's cool.
All right, with that, we are moving on to the next piece of news. With that, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. begins filming season 6 next week, according to Chloe Bennett, who's now dating Logan Paul.
Who?
Yeah, that's how everybody feels now. That's how everybody feels.
About what?
Feels bad. Can I get an F in the chat?
No, don't F. No.
But yeah, Chloe Bennett, as visually stated on her Instagram stories, that next week they will start shooting season 6 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is apparently earlier than they would if it was a normal show with 22 episodes, and it also won't be coming out till next summer, which is also going to be 13 episodes.
It's because they're going to put them in Avengers.
I'm down for it. I know it probably won't happen, but I'd be down for it.
No, it's not going to happen at all. If it does, I'd be surprised. Then again, you could get Coulson quite easily in there if you do some Ant-Man-y.
Look, if we're doing the whole... Because isn't there a rumor about, like, time jumping in Avengers 4, and Coulson could time jump from the past to the future for a minute, and he says goodbye, yada yada.
But now, here's the question. I actually only realized it the other day. Is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on the same timeline as the movies anymore?
They did mention the whole Thanos thing, didn't they? Like, oh, Thanos is here.
Yeah, but like, surely the whole thing of if you affect the timeline, the original one carries on. You've just gone to a different one.
Oh, yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, it's
So are they still on that? Are they in the same timeline? Because in theory they're not anymore, so they can do what they want.
It's one, time travel stuff, right? I mean, it's just hard to even like tell stories with that, because sometimes it could just get very convoluted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last season was convoluted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah. Remember, there's so many things we thought was gonna happen for season 5. We thought they were gonna go back and just not interact with themselves, like they'll see themselves in that future, but they just won't interact. Oh man, there's so many things that could have happened.
Yeah. I mean, I was right to an extent about something, but
Yeah. So I don't think there really is much else other than it is next summer, 2019 summer, 13 episodes, filming next week. Of course, Daisy's back. I don't know Coulson is exactly back.
well, they didn't kill Coulson. They've been
Technically, yeah.
like I think they have been teasing that he's gonna probably still be around. I don't think you can redo the show without him. Plus, if it's gonna be after Avengers 4, so they can just go, oh, I got dusted. I came back. I'm cured.
I gotta assume at least the first half of season 6 has to do something about Fitz, right?
I mean, yeah.
It's gotta be about getting Fitz back and
yeah.
somehow finding him. And I still won't get over that. For that 5 minutes, I would say 5 minutes. I hated the show and never wanted to see it again.
Well, the argument we had in this show was longer than 5 minutes. I can tell you.
Well, yeah, but in the actual show, it was like 5 minutes from when it happened to when they told us in the show. So but then. I'm waiting. We'll see what happens. I never thought of like that part at the end, but it is what it is.
But now here's the thing: is it going to be one story, like last season, and like the Netflix shows and like Cloak and Dagger and Runaways are, or are they going to stick to here's a couple of mini stories, and that way they could possibly jump around and do other things. Like here's before Infinity War, and you're going to get that punch, even though it's be kind of too late at that point. But then here's after Infinity War. Because if they do that, they'll then be the only show to actually address what happened. Because no one else is even going to touch it.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
You're right. I don't know, man. It's hard to get a sense of where they could go. It's really we're all just guessing and hoping for the best because they're Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. the hype isn't as big as it used to be, but it's still very much alive. I would like to say, I love the show.
Yeah. I mean, I can be kind of down on all last season all I want. I still enjoyed it for the most part, but all they got to do is just have a strong opening episode.
And we're back in it.
Fine, yeah.
And we're back in it. So I think
because now's the perfect time for them to go down and go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's not be huge. Let's
go and break the world and stuff like that. When Thanos just popped in, and it's like I think that's gonna be it. There's nothing really else to say. I assume maybe at San Diego Comic-Con they'll say something about it. Be like, hey, this is what we might do for season 6.
I mean, it's possible, but they don't have a panel. I believe it's only Cloak and Dagger and Iron Fist.
Okay.
Have a panel.
Not even Runaways has a panel. Interesting.
No.
Very interesting. I would have thought at least Runaways would have had a panel with Cloak and Dagger because they.
I mean, you would have thought because isn't that coming out again this year?
Yeah, but they're also most likely going to cross over at some point. So it's like.
I mean, yeah.
So you think that, and they'd hype it up and stuff like that, similar to the CW DC shows, which is something I need to get back into. I haven't seen any of the seasons.
Nah, you're fine.
Nah, I need to get back into it, man.
You're too far behind now. You can't catch up.
I mean, it's like 4 seasons. That's a lot of seasons when you think about it.
That's like an entire show's run.
That's a lot of seasons. I got to do Arrow, Flash, Black Lightning, Supergirl. That's why I never finished Black Lightning. I don't even halfway.
You don't have. Well, you don't have to finish Black Lightning, to be honest.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't. I gave up on that shit.
All right. So, I think that is going to be it for the news, as there's not much else to talk about for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6, other than as we talked about, it's filming next week. And Chloe Bennett is not alive to anybody anymore because she's just gone. Yep.
You mean redacted?
Redacted. All right. Now we will be going into the shows of the week. Starting off with, of course, one of our favorite shows, My Hero Academia, Season 2, Episode 14.
Yep.
So
we're finally starting a new arc, and Midori is still an idiot for the most part.
A little bit, but I think everybody got the sense of this episode when he said, "You're still being like me." I was like, I think we all know what's gonna happen. He's got to change it up. He's got to be himself.
Yeah.
And
well, he's even still not being himself. He's still kind of copying someone else. But
yeah, in a way. I mean, I get one of the greatest things about this character that is Midoriya was that he is actually really smart when it comes down to it, in terms of like he studied various heroes, so he should be able to,
smart in the theory of it. He's like just not very bright for himself.
Well, he's no okay. Maybe he's street smart. Let's say that in a way, because he's not like book smart for sure.
It depends what the book's on.
True.
It's a superhero school, so if you know the superheroes and what they're gonna do and how they act, then it's kind of book smart.
I also love that he's like, if I can't use my hands, I'm gonna use my legs. I swear I thought he used his legs at some point. I guess he did.
Nah, he's never used his legs. Actually, no, telling like he has used his legs. He did it. At the camp, and it was like for 1 second.
Yeah. And then eventually he'll probably go to his head and actually use his head, like in terms of just headbutting people.
I wouldn't be surprised. He'll use everything. Wink, wink.
But that's one of those weird things where eventually he's gonna be able to withstand all that, right? Similar to All Might.
I mean, maybe if he doesn't kill himself first.
Oh, so it's one of those things where All Might probably didn't do the crazy things Midoriya did when he first got the power. So
I could spoil it, but they're going to address it soon anyway. So
yeah, because we both talked about it, right? Where there is some sort of healing factor.
Yeah, there has to be.
Yeah, there's some sort of healing factor. Eventually, he'll be able to use it, but it might take time. Similar to Superman's kind of solar flare, where it takes time, right?
Unless you're written under Bendis, then it takes no time at all.
Yes, okay, you're right. You're right. It is going to be one of those things, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the episode. It's fun. Creating ultimate moves. It's it's superhero academy type stuff. It's cool. It's X-Men, right? But better than kind of like what we've got in live action and that,
It's the X-Humans.
Exactly. It's such an entertaining show. I don't know. There's not too much bad things to say about it. I don't know. What else did you want to like highlight?
I like All Might kind of realized now that he's not the best of teachers. He knew it before, but now he's like taking steps to get around that with the whole teaching for dummies book in his pocket.
I love that.
That's funny. It's so good.
That's such a funny.
Of course, Bakugo's still number one. He's still best boy.
What was? There was something I saw this episode, and it's when I realized even more. Like, oh man, he's a really good character. There's something about it. What was it? I think it was the fact I was watching it, and he was doing really good, and they were talking about him, how he's doing really good, and then you realize nobody really helped him as a kid. Like, he always seemed like he was alone in that sense,
Who, Bakugo?
Yeah, he always seemed like he did everything himself.
He had the yes men around him, but it was all...
Yeah, but it's to some people, those aren't necessarily helpful, because they're like, they're just liking me because I'm already good. Like, they're not helping me at all.
Yeah.
He just, what was it? Because, like, it seemed like a lot of other people had one of those, or especially, what was I thinking? So, Midoriya has All Might. Todoroki has his father, who's a number 2 hero.
He doesn't really have Endeavor. That's a bit...
Okay, true, but he has somebody to, like... Okay, so this is somebody that was in my life,
Oh, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Bakugo didn't really have that.
No.
So it's one of those things that kind of makes him more, like, interesting as a character to me. And, I mean, I'm sure we've seen these kind of characters before, but it's just lightning to see it happen again. I don't know how many episodes. 25, maybe?
What, in this season?
Yeah.
I think it's the same as last one, so 22, 23, whatever that was. I think. I could be wrong.
And, of course, there's getting their provisional license, stuff like that. It's it's all exciting. I love the ultimate moves, because I was always wondering, like, why do they need ultimate moves? But at the same time, I guess it's to make yourself feel better.
It's an anime, so you have to have that one thing, one little win button for everyone. I like the fact that, it's a typical My Hero thing. They were using their heads a little bit. So, you can spray acid from your hands, but if you funnel it, you're going to get a more pinpoint thing.
Yeah, this whole episode was kind of, in a way, showing how smart it is, where they just go above what you think they're going to do in terms of all these characters. Like, they're very much giving all these characters good attention and not just pushing them off the side. Every character does matter,
Yeah, and, even the little tech girl. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Saved my life. But a character you wouldn't normally know. You get a little spotlight on, even though we've seen it before in the season 2 games from the start of that season.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her since, so we can get that little spotlight on someone that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. But if you sit there and think about it, it's actually quite important to everything. So, just another way the show kind of goes like above and beyond everything else.
I agree. Anything else you want to mention about this episode?
I wish it was in dub.
Yeah, I mean, I've canceled my subscription to Funimation. I'm no longer watching dub. I'm kind of just sticking on Hulu and watching sub.
Yeah, it's the same. Even though I think the dub for this episode's out in like 4 or 5 days, so it's going to be.
This isn't the first episode with the new intro, right? Because I kind of just
it is.
Okay. I don't like it as much as the first half.
It's not the best.
The first half was the best intro they've had, in my opinion. It was just so good, catchy, and different.
This one's too both the intro and outro a bit too slow. I think.
You know what? I don't necessarily listen to the outro. It's one of those things I just kind of, once it's done, I click out, to be honest.
Disgraceful.
I'm just one of those people, man. I just click out once it's like once it goes to the outro, just like, all right, I'm done for the week. I don't think they have much else. I honestly, since it is the new intro, I didn't get to kind of acknowledge some of the teases they might have for the future of the second half of the season.
I don't think it does.
Doesn't have any really teasers?
Actually, no. It kind of, you get little hints of like the other characters that are going to come in for everything, but.
Yeah, I got exposed the other night because I did not watch sub for My Hero season 1, so I didn't know the intro. And when an intro for season 1 sub came on, I honestly didn't know it was My Hero.
That's disgraceful.
I only watched
you know what? I'm going to completely scrap the idea I had for our first emote. I'm making a shame one just.
You know what? It's one of those things where I guess when you got me into it, right? I initially watched dub because you sent me the dub, and
dub's good.
Good dub. And the dub has a different intro, if I remember correctly.
No,
it doesn't.
No, same one.
Man, did I skip the intro or something? I honestly don't remember the intro for season 1.
Even though you always told me you never skip intros, you always watch.
I don't, but I don't know. I guess I just don't remember season 1, man. Like, it's
exposed. That's the second emote.
Exposed.
There you go.
Exposed, but I mean, it's just one of those things. I very much love season 3's intro, so I think all the other ones, like I barely remember season 2, to be honest. I just really love season 3 the most. Season 3 is the one I'm gonna keep forever in my head.
It's a good intro.
I don't really like. I remember when I asked you who sings it, because it seems like it's a cool thing to do the intros for anime. Like if you're in Japan, it seems like a cool thing if you're like a band in Japan.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can also get like, I can't remember her name. It's Amy Lee or Amy and Lee. Yeah. I can't remember, but she does like the dubbed versions of them or the translated versions. Yeah,
I think in dub it shows like the sub, in dub it shows like the sub of it. So
yeah.
It's really very awesome. Any last thoughts on this episode? I just another entertaining episode. We never really ever have anything bad to say about this the show. It's just such a good show.
Because the only thing bad they've done was the start of this season with that pointless filler. I don't know if it's dubbed yet or not.
Probably not, to be fair. It's one of those that's never going to be dubbed. How much you want to bet? Because I remember specifically watching old animes back in the day, and some episodes just were never dubbed. And that's just because they were fillers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, we are going to get into Cloak and Dagger, Season 1, Episode 7.
Good episode.
Another good episode.
Yeah. A much-needed episode after last week's, kind of a slow burn.
It was a slow burn, right? You're right. We were talking about it and saying how, there's not too much to happen, and maybe it wasn't necessary, but then when you talk, because there's, a random thing of bees, and... But now...
Oh, yeah, the bees, yeah. I forgot about the bees completely.
Yeah, but now it's one of those things where it makes up because this episode is all about her father and kind of their relationship, and you realize it more from the last episode. And it's like almost a second parter to that, right?
Yeah, it's definitely picking up from last week.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I I didn't know what to expect when they first went inside his mind. I don't know what kind of thing it was gonna be, but the way it was, honestly, I really enjoyed the way they did it.
Same. I hope it's not a concept they just drop. Like, can we go back to this? You've established they can both do it at the same time now, and there's something different.
So,
like, what's
you think there's a way that they could possibly go into their own version of it and train for just hours?
I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
Their own little hyperbolic time chamber.
Exactly. It's exactly what I was thinking. I didn't want to say it because you don't like Dragon Ball Z. But...
I said it because I knew you were going to say it, or you at least were thinking of it. So.
we know each other like that. But yeah, it's excellent episode in terms of like emotion as well. They saying in the chat, my heart. I agree.
Like, Tandy's my queen. Like, you can back the fuck off.
Tyrone's my bro. Like, this dude knows what's up. He's real.
Tyrone was really good this week.
Yeah, this is the really best he's ever been, in my opinion. The best he's ever been.
I will say they need to work on his teleportation.
Yeah, because
him just blinking out when... Oh, I can't remember. I think it's the first time he goes...
He gets hit,
goes down to the core. I'm certain the camera... Because they do the typical thing of, we're going to pause it with him there and then take him out and then play.
Yeah.
I'm certain the camera jerks. And it's just like, come on, guys. I know you're freeform, but like, just give it a little something to look at. Like, sure, you don't really want to make him a Nightcrawler, but can we kind of make him a little bit like a Nightcrawler? Like, just have the effects there. You know, Tandy's got hers, he hasn't got his. Just like, even just a little bit of smoke, just have that. Just a cheap little After Effects thing. Just put that in there, it'd be 1,000 times better.
I kind of wish the smoke would be there because, as I told you a couple of episodes back when they were shooting at him, there was no smoke when other people were seeing it. And for some reason, there was no smoke here too sometimes. The other times there were.
I mean, actually, you say that. Even in this episode, it's just like, there's a tiny bit and then there's not. Like,
yeah. I don't know if that's a budget thing.
Like, I don't know if it's because it's too dark and his powers aren't really that in your face like Tandy's are, where it's all light. Or like, but
So
it just needs something there.
Okay, so I was watching this episode, right, and I was thinking to myself, Tandy, she could survive in a situation like this. She's got this thing she could throw now. Or it's like she could maybe make a sword out of it if she wanted. Who knows where it could go from here? And I was like, how does teleportation powers really like in a fight? And then I reminded myself, I really enjoy the movie Jumper, and you can do a lot with teleportation. Yeah. I think you enjoyed that movie too, right?
I enjoyed Jumper, yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where you can actually do a lot with teleportation when you think about it.
I mean, it's not like that's his only power either, Once, obviously, there's still...
the fear thing? Yeah.
Yeah, they're not really broken in yet, so you can play about the fear stuff and everything. So I'm trying to think what else they can do.
Very curious. I don't think they... How far do they take them in the comics, their powers?
I was just trying to think how far they can go.
Because
I know Tandy can have more than one dagger at a time.
Okay, she could do like the nunchucks type thing, like move them around her knuckles, throw them, I don't know, or not nunchucks, I guess, but like katanas, like,
or just daggers.
Yeah,
you're thinking more of shurikens.
I was thinking more of Raph in TMNT, where he's kind of just like he has them around, and he can like mess.
Oh, the Sai.
Yeah.
That's what you're thinking of, yeah.
So, but also, could she make it longer, sword-like?
I don't know.
Could she make a shield?
I don't.
Imagine?
I mean, it's possible, but then again, that kind of...
Can it be Green Lantern? Where she just kind of, like, imagines?
No, it's not that extent. No.
Okay.
There's a reason why she's called Dagger.
Okay, yeah. And as for Tyrone, I was talking about it, the movie Jumper, right? But in that movie, they can touch someone, hold on to them, and teleport them somewhere else, right? I wonder if Tyrone could do that as well.
Ty can do that.
So if he wanted to, he could teleport behind those bad guys, grab onto them, teleport somewhere else, throw them off to the ocean, and teleport back in, right?
Yeah. I mean, in the comics, he is like his own little pocket dimension.
Yeah.
And for the most part, he does like jump on people. That's not really what he does, but like it's like he just engulfs them in the dimension and take them off.
It's exactly what I was thinking. He engulfs them. He just goes with his little rope thing.
He's an offensive doorway. Yeah, essentially.
I honestly, I love where they're taking their powers, and it's kind of like a sped up process of like, we're not going to take 2 seasons for them to learn more about their powers and be better at them. Here's kind of like 2 episodes back, or maybe 3 episodes if you count like before that when or I don't know, it's just been like a whole season thing, I guess. But especially this episode, they sped it up a little bit where Tandy was in there for, I guess, how long do you think she was in there in terms of years?
I wouldn't say years, because didn't they say how long?
200 times. She stopped counting at 200 times. But I mean,
yeah, because you think, didn't they say they have a minute and a half from when the phone rings?
Do you want to count maybe a couple weeks?
Oh no, if it's like, if you think the phone call was the halfway point, and I'm certain it had a minute and a half, or like a minute 40 from that point. So if that's the halfway point, that's what?
It's just between.
What, it's less than 5 minutes. So 5 minutes times 200, it's not. You're looking at what, maybe a day.
But... yeah, it's one of those things where maybe it's just more like a mental, like just repeating it.
Yeah.
Like in terms of actually throughout the days and stuff like that. But I would assume she actually can throw a dagger now if she wanted to in the real world because she learned it.
Oh yeah.
In her mind, I would have hoped it doesn't do the whole thing like, oh, I only remember in there, like,
No, I doubt they're gonna do that. Because then what's the point? Like, you just wasted an hour of the show. So why? The reason why they did this was so they can get their powers up quicker.
I just wish Tyrone was, because Tandy's always, it feels like she's always going to be more ahead of Tyrone, and then maybe that's a woman thing, right? Where women are always apparently.
That's kind of how they are. Like, if you look at what their powers are and what they represent, she's the more offensive forward one.
Yeah.
And defense, even though defense should really go in front, but like withdrawn, it makes sense. It goes with everything.
Yeah, but it's one of those things how they always play it off in TV shows and movies where women are smarter at a younger age and stuff like that, right? They always play it off like that.
Because they mature quicker.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, let's say they are, right? So that's what they're trying to play off in this show as well, where Tandy is probably going to, her powers are going to advance quicker than Tyrone.
It's also just her personality. Like, she is that little fiery blonde button.
Agree. What else about this episode? Oh, you know what? Somebody brought it up. I saw somebody on Twitter bring it up. I don't really remember it, but it was just a picture of wondering why the show doesn't bring it up. When are they going to bring up that they have each other's items from kids? Like the shoe, the blanket, or is it a hoodie or blanket? I'm not entirely sure. I think it's a hoodie.
Hoodie.
Yeah, okay, hoodie. Yeah. So when are they going to bring up to each other? Because that last...
Do you know what? I completely forgot they had that, or I completely forgot at least Ty had her shoe. Even when watching this episode, when you see the shoe, I completely forgot it was hers. But the second you see the hoodie, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the brothers. Yeah. And I wonder, they could have made a really good connection now at the end of this episode.
What do you mean?
Well, she was on the phone to Ty while he was playing the little recorder.
Yeah, that was so good. So good.
Little dictaphone.
Yeah.
So she's hearing the brother whose hoodie she has.
Yeah.
So you could have made a decent little connection there. I don't know whether they know themselves. I assume they know that it belongs to them. I imagine it's going to be brought up at some point, and this show doesn't seem to just bring things up to drop it instantly.
Yeah.
The showrunner said they set things up in season 3 that mean nothing until the finale. So, if we've got the season 2 villain already being teased, no. There's got to be some connection there at some point, whether it's this season or next. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a good thing. I saw, I use this app TV Time where I can keep track of the show and stuff like that. But there's also people who can talk like in forums type of sense and use pictures that the app provides. And that was one of them where early in the episode, Tandy does say, "No one calls up or checks up on me," stuff like that. And then Tyrone, of course, calls up on her. And
There's been a lot of stuff like that this season.
It's so good. I honestly, it pays off being invested in these characters. It definitely pays off, and there's just a lot to like, honestly. I mean, especially since where we started in episode 1, and she was just kind of robbing him.
Character development.
Yeah, it's so good. I think this is a show that definitely deserves season 2. I think it will have a season 2. The chat, of course, said that easily. Freeform kind of announced it. I don't really remember that. So we'll see.
I mean, there was a debate, but to answer how close it is to the comics, story-wise, not very.
Yeah.
there are some elements, like they swapped the backstories of the two of them around. They're virtually the same. How they get their powers is kind of similar, kind of not. Like it's more an experiment, not an accident. Character-wise, they're spot on, especially in this episode. Like they finally kind of became more the Cloak and Dagger. Like you could see it before, but now with the development they've had, it's definitely like you can quite easily see, like both in the Ultimates and the 616, it's the Cloak and Dagger.
It is one of those things where I don't think you, especially you reading the comics, you expected it beat for beat, right? You expected an adaptation of sorts.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, there's what 30 issues of them.
Yeah,
since
it's
the 70s,
hard to go
so
beat for beat. Yeah.
Like I wasn't expecting it. I wouldn't expect anyone to think they were going beat for beat, because their original one isn't even their origin, so you can't go through that. So but then again, like it feels like this could easily have been their origin. If they don't get rebooted in the comics to be like this, I'd be surprised. Even though Dennis Hopeless is still doing that little mini-series on Comixology. But
look, honestly, I gotta say straight up, I just enjoy this way more than Runaways. I liked Runaways, but I love this show.
I've been watching Runaways again, and this is far better.
Yeah.
And no chat, they're not mutants. They never were. That was a retcon. They get retconned out because it was a mistake. They are experiments.
So when are we thinking they get their official, clothes, super suits in a way?
Tandy's never going to get a suit.
You think she's just going to be a person?
She's kind of already said that she's not. Or at least she said she's not going to have the weird boob stomach window.
Okay, well, I mean, that's not the suit. That could be something else.
Well, I mean, that is...
Well, I mean, a new suit, right? Because I assume, Tyrone still has his brother's kind of thing that he's going to remake. And it's one of those things, maybe they tease it at the end of Season 1, Season 2 he has it.
No, the cloak's coming next episode.
Oh, next episode. Oh, yeah, you told me, yeah.
No, he's going to have it this season because they've, you're not going to be working on the cloak for that long.
I'm excited that hopefully they bring back whatever that was initially, because I thought it did bring some life into New Orleans, or as they say, I think they say New Orleans at some point, when his brother was beatboxing and rapping.
It's New Orleans.
Yeah, but his brother says New Orleans to rhyme, so I thought that was funny.
Actually, do I say New Orleans?
I say New Orleans. Some people say New Orleans.
I'm going to say New Orleans now, and then next week say New Orleans.
All I know is the brother said New Orleans just so it could rhyme. That's all, really. Yeah. I remember.
Smart lad.
Yeah, that was so good, man. Just their chemistry they built up together, and kind of just hearing that, and he it crushed me when he said, honestly, I wouldn't even recognize his voice if I had heard it. I thought that was wild, man.
But it's true.
Yeah, when somebody's been gone that long, it's hard. I get it. I definitely get it.
Even if someone hasn't died, if you haven't spoken to someone in years, can you remember their voice?
Yeah, it's hard. You can remember their face, right? But it's the voice that's the hard part.
Yeah. I mean, the face is the easy part now because it's social media, but just the voice that's what the show does best. It hits you right in the gut. It's you relate to this. You know exactly how that feels.
As we were talking about, Tyrone definitely took a step up this episode, specifically the best he's ever been. Especially when he could have left her, right? But he's just he's a bro, man. He's like, I gotta stay, and he helped her get out of that situation. Everything about it was just good. And
I need an alternative ending to this episode.
What's it?
Because I want to see people's reactions to this little blonde girl, this little white blonde girl, just touching this Asian man. What's the reaction to that? How do they get her off?
You know what? Honestly, I don't know why. Don't ask. Maybe it's because I'm used to horror movies. But I thought when she got a call at the end, it was gonna be her dad saying "Hi, Pumpkin," that she was still stuck or something.
That would have been something.
Bro, I honestly, that's initially what I thought was gonna happen. I was like, "Oh no, she's still stuck, right? Oh no!" And then it didn't happen. But that sounds like a horror movie.
It's just Ty taking some more cues from Tandy.
Yeah, but
because he's gonna learn how to lie a bit better because he has to.
Well, yeah, they're gonna help each other out, and I'm sure she's gonna learn to trust more people. They help each other out. Yeah, chat's agreeing with me. That would have been insane. That's just a thriller move. That's the end of a movie, right? Inception, the spinning top thing, but it's still at the same time you don't know if.
But then again, they can still play with that idea of Mr. Jib next season.
Yeah, and if they do that idea where one episode they think they beat him, but they're still in it, I think that's gonna be good
if they have to say Mr. Jib, they could not back away from that name.
I'm gonna assume Voodoo's the one that tells them about Mr. Jib, and kind of says Mr. Jip as like a boogeyman type of thing.
Hold on, are you saying voodoo as in brother voodoo?
No. Voodoo, the woman.
Oh, voodoo lady.
Yeah,
Oh,
voodoo lady.
I was like, what? They're not going to have that connection.
I almost feel like the voodoo lady is gonna be the train or whatever, the thing to get him to the more fantastical side.
She's got some part in this. Definitely. No Riley this episode. Then again, there wasn't many supporting characters this episode.
You know what? It's one of those things where, I mean, the cop stuff is interesting, but at the same time, I very much love this more fantastical stuff, and I'm glad they're moving towards it eventually.
Yeah.
They're going to have to somehow figure out this cop and business stuff, which makes sense for the first season, you know?
I mean, spoilers, she becomes someone, so the fantastical stuff can mix in with her.
With a cop?
Yeah.
O'Reilly. Okay. Yeah. Do we think Mina Hess is gonna be anything after this season, or is this a one season thing? I feel like it's a one season thing.
Who is she? The
daughter.
The girl with
the daughter. The cookie. Carter.
Oh, her. Oh, yeah. I was thinking of the voodoo.
No. I'm thinking the daughter. Ivan Hess. Yeah.
I mean, she's just a character for this show. She's not from the comics at all, so I don't know how.
Yeah, honestly, I'm thinking it's a one season thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she could come back. I like the character. She'd quite easily come back, but
exactly. Oh, anything else?
No, it's just a good episode.
Yeah,
episode.
I agree. I very much agree.
And it was different. You don't see this sort of things in TV shows. I mean, sure, like S.H.I.E.L.D. just did a whole season about time loops.
Yeah, but I feel like the way we talk about this is so much different than we talk about shit. There's something more about this show that, honestly, it's up there with the Netflix shows for me.
Oh, this is the hands down the best.
Yeah,
hands down.
It might be my favorite, to be honest, out of even the Netflix shows. I don't know. It's just one of those things. I just enjoy this a lot. It's nothing.
I think it's because of how personal it is and how relatable they are.
Yeah. I agree. I hope they bring back basketball, but I highly doubt it. You know,
well, I mean, you got to pay attention to it.
All right, so let's get a call back to last week, I think, when we're talking about that basketball scene and why he lost the thing real quick. You told me that somebody said it's because he wanted to be the opposite of Tandy, where he doesn't use his powers for his own gain and where he doesn't feel bad about it. Makes sense. He eventually uses his powers anyways next episode, but I think that's more so for...
it's not for his own gain, though. It's helping someone else out.
No, but it's not even for helping somebody else out. It's more so because that guy grabbed him. And was just like, he had to defend himself. He had to defend himself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's definitely one of those guys that will be using his powers to defend himself. And of course, he'll use it against like bad guys or villains. But he's not one that will use it for his own gain. Which, of course, is the opposite of Tandy. And it makes him like that.
It's why they work well together.
Agree. So, I think with that, we're pretty much done. No new news has popped up that we need to mention or anything like that.
Nope.
Let us check.
Not that I've looked or anyone said. But,
I mean, I've looked.
Plus, nothing's going to come out this week. It's San Diego Comic Con. It's going to be dead until the weekend.
Exactly. So of course, as I said, we are starting to record all of these casts Monday through Thursday. You can find us on twitch.tv/comicbookcast. Of course, Google Comic Book Cast for anything else CBC related: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud. The Discord link is down below if you do want to join the Discord, if you're watching live on twitch.tv/comicbookcast, or if you want to come through later to another show, because we will be recording the film podcast tomorrow, Tuesday, because today is a Monday as we're recording this. So, yeah. And with that, I guess we'll see y'all next time.
Toodles.